Bitzer Reciprocating Compressor, mounting the IQ Module CM-RC01 add-on kit. In this film, we'll show you how to mount the IQ Module CM-RC01 add-on kit. Our kit contains all the components necessary for professional mounting. Begin by depressurizing the compressor and extracting the rest of the refrigerant. Next, the screws on the cover of the compressor terminal box are loosened, the cover taken off, and the protective conductor on the cover unscrewed. Remove the motor protection device and fasten the motor PTC cables of the compressor module to the terminal plate. The compressor module can then be positioned on the terminal box and the protective conductor screwed on. In the next step, the cable holders are mounted onto the cylinder heads. Plastic clips are clicked into the fixtures. This is followed by the sensors. The heating element is coated in a heat transfer paste and inserted into the heater sleeve. The oil heater is then wired from the sensor to the module and connected to the terminal strip. Now it's time to mount the discharge gas temperature sensor. Begin by removing the sealing plug on the cylinder head. The discharge gas temperature sensor will now be screwed in and the connector tightened by hand. Now the prism unit is screwed into the bearing cover. The optoelectronic unit needs to be carefully inserted into the prism unit till the stop. The union nut is tightened at the end. Before mounting the solenoid valves, the cylinder head cover needs to be taken off. The new gasket and solenoid valve are positioned there and secured with 2 screws. The solenoid coil is pressed onto the armature until it locks. Then attach the electric connector of the device with a gasket and screw it on. The cables are then laid on both sides to the compressor module. The cables are cut to length if required, and then guided through the screwed cable gland into the module housing. They can then be connected to the terminal strip. In the next step, the high-pressure transmitter is mounted. First, the HP sealing plug needs to be removed. The screwed nipple and adapter are then screwed in with the Schrader valve. The high-pressure transmitter can then be fastened. Please do not insert a blanking plate in between, as the Schrader valve will otherwise not open. At the end, the connector is clicked in and the cable guided to the IQ module before connecting to the terminal strip. In order to mount the low-pressure transmitter, the LP sealing plug needs to be removed and the screwed nipple fastened. The low-pressure transmitter is screwed onto it. The connector is then clicked in and the cable guided to the compressor module, where it is connected to the terminal strip. In order to mount the refrigerant injection, the Schrader valve first needs to be unscrewed. The injection nozzle is then screwed in. A fixture is fastened to the cylinder head to secure the injection valve. The pre-mounted injection valve is then screwed onto the injection nozzle and the pipe clip fastened to the holder with an open-end spanner. The injection valve is then tightened. The solenoid valve is now pressed until it locks. The electric connector of the device is attached with the gasket and screwed on. The cable is then laid into the module housing and then connected to the terminal strip. The cable holders are closed on both sides of the compressor using a hammer, and then the cable straps fastened. The connection diagram is now pasted on the inside of the cover, and the protective conductor fastened to the cover. To complete the mounting process, now mount the cover onto the housing with the 6 screws. High-quality Bitzer components guarantee professional mounting. Please contact our service department if you have any further questions.